Hello everybody, Ian Robson here for another episode of Idaho. Alright, we got a couple that's going on today. Didn't think I said things there for a second. So, we have a couple of things going on today. Could you imagine if I talked like that for a whole episode? Man, that would be a rather relaxing episode. It would feel like I would be talking in a very different way. Anyways, I'm not going to talk like that for the episode, don't worry. Anyhow, we have the Master Ferguson down here. This is the little speed demon, so to speak. He is just grabbing our lime here because we're going to need to spread some lime soon. As you probably can see right now, I am just filling up this bunker right here. And what am I filling it up with, you ask? I am filling it up with the straw from this field right here. That was from the oats field. And this is the same field I'm going to... spread some lime down. I'm basically just going to cut my I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to cut my losses because I'm going to have to go through this field all again. And I'm not going to get very much yield if I don't. Extreme acidity, you only get like 5% or something. It's really low. So I'm just going to get this straw off here because that is going to give us a little bit of liquid slurry, which is good for the soil mod. So I got the homemade tractor right here on standby, and I also, as you saw, I have this guy right here, and we're going to fill this guy up with some lime, and we're going to spread some lime on that field once those guys are done. They're pretty close to being done right now, so alright. Feels like it's been forever since I recorded. It probably has been, actually. Ah, yes. It's weird, you can only refill, so watch this. So if I press B, pressing R, no refill. C, no refill. Can't refill lime, but can only refill type A. So one little trick I discovered when I was doing some stuff off camera was to always, when it's running a course, always set it up so it stops at the last point. Let me give you an example here. What is this, F7? Okay, so if I do fertilize, seeding, and we'll grab Field 7, we'll start from the northwest corner, heading south, return to first point, no, and do this, and then you attach the other one, which is this guy right here. So what you do is when you have it drive the course, you say stop at last point or next trigger, because basically that'll allow you, it'll stop at the very last point before it starts spraying again, so then you can adjust what you want to put on the field. Of course, in this scenario, I want to put lime. So, like I said, I'm going to cut my losses because otherwise I'll have to spread lime on this field first, and then harvest it, and then put more lime down, and then cultivate it in, and then fertilize it. So I'm just gonna. We got half the field, so I'm not too worried about it. We didn't get very much. We got 40,000 liters worth of oats off this field. Which isn't very much when you consider the size of it. But when you look at the acidity level, that's the reason why we did so poorly. Because we had such a high level of acidity. So I could... Maybe I should. But the problem is it costs a lot of money in order to do it. So it costs a lot of money for me to go through the field multiple times. And I just don't have that type of money right now. As you can see, the GMC's on courseplay. He's currently unloading this guy right here, and this guy's currently doing this. This actually works a bit better than detaching and reattaching the trailer every single time, so it seems at least. So the other plus was I could actually put it on and walk away for a bit, which is what I kind of did there for a while. Alright, so our fields, some of our fields are ready to go. No, none of their fields are ready to go now that I think about it. Someone asked me, is it really all withered? Yes, it is really all withered all around here. Someone said it was like, that's a lot of red you have in there, like on your map. I'm like, yep. The soil mod inherently has the wither already pre-installed with it, so you have to it's very difficult to get rid of it, I've been told. So that's why it's in here. I don't mind. It does add realism to it to a certain extent, so. Alright, so we have, I think, 8 is going to be ready next phase. And half of field 10 is going to be ready next phase as well. So what we should do, we should hop into this guy right here and go check out field 8 while we're waiting on those guys to do their thing. Because we may need to do some work. Nope, I actually wanted this. We may need to do some work on the field, so let's go take a quick little peek here. So as you can see, moderate acidity, that's pretty high. So as you can see, I have this couple of strips here of grass and soybeans. So this little strip here is a soybean strip, and this is canola, obviously. So this is, oh, this has moderate acidity too. Ooh. Maybe I should spray this field, actually. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Because if that has a, technically I really don't need it. I shouldn't be doing this at the start. It will dissipate into the ground, but not by much. So let's just get set up here. And there we go. I don't know what that is. There we go. So we probably shouldn't really spread lime at this stage of the game, to be honest with you. But I don't really have much of a choice because the acidity level. Because at 5.8, you're actually going to lose. You actually lose a good chunk of. You lose a good chunk of your yield. So in order to kind of veto that, this should, by just spreading it down like this and not doing anything else, like not cultivating or plowing it in, I probably will increase my yield by quite a bit. Actually, I've seen quite a few tweets in the last little while on Twitter. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I tend to tweet a lot of random stuff in relation to farming. Real-life farming, though, not really Farming Simulator. The odd time about Farming Simulator, but mostly about real farming. And I follow a lot of farmers online, and a lot of the stuff I follow is in relation to Ontario farming specifically. So, anyways, a lot of the tweets I've seen quite a few tweets. I should really have row crop tires on this, but I don't think you can change the tires on this one. Anyways, a lot of the tweets I've seen as of late have been about not lately, but a while ago. A lot of people are talking about spreading lime down, and now's kind of the time to spread lime, or think about it at least. I know a company out of Ontario, out of I think Northern Ontario, was talking about spreading lime and whatnot, so, and how important it is to do. So it was kind of interesting to see. They were talking about, actually the other thing he's talking about, that specific person I'm thinking of is talking about, also mentioned, oh, there's a bit of weeds there. Not too bad though. One of the other things he mentioned was about aluminum booms on sprayers. So for example, like the sprayer we have, the Case Patriot, for example, if I were to put aluminum booms on that, it would reduce the amount of weight, therefore reducing the compaction, which is one of the things that he was talking about. So that was kind of interesting. So there we go. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff on Twitter. So if you want to follow me, it's at IPJ Robson. Nothing fancy. But I am on Twitter. I have Facebook, but I don't really check it, to be honest with you. So anyways, side note. Alright, so actually, interesting enough, I was listening to a radio show / podcast, whatever you want to call it, and sorry, I had to get a sip of hot lemonade there. I was listening to a radio show the other day. It's called the Cropline Update, and it's done by Peter Johnson. I mentioned him before, and I've mentioned the podcast before, I believe, as well. Peter Johnson, and he's a Mafra. He's the cereal specialist. Anyhow, he was talking about right now, because a lot of the wheat is either coming off or has already come off, the winter wheat I'm referring to. So a lot of it has come off already. So what he has been talking about is cover crops, and putting down a cover crop to go over to the cover crop in order to prevent erosion from happening. And I think, if memory serves, I have to double check now that I think about it, but I believe he was saying something like putting clover down. I think it was double cut clover down. And you could use, I think it's going to be a clover oats pea mix. Maybe it was? I can't remember now. I don't take notes or anything like that, but I really should. I feel like I should take notes from his crop line updates, just because they are really informative. Basically, the way the show kind of works is when farmers call in and leave a question for Peter, and he answers to the best he can, to the best of his ability. And I find a lot of interesting stuff there. But it's like, I guess it's sponsored by or done by OMAFRA, which is the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture and Farming in Ontario. Ooh, that's a bit of weed infestation there. So, it's pretty interesting if you ask me. Alright, not too bad. We only used about 50% worth of lime. I'm happy about that, because I didn't have very much money in order to spend on it. So that should increase the pH a little bit. Not sure how much. Might be a couple points there. Oh, it's nice little storage area. This is the dairy farm here. I think a couple people have actually asked me to... Oh, it has that? That's nice. And you can drive through that. Oh, goodness. I shouldn't have checked that. This is really nice because solid manure is like gold, essentially. With your soil mod, so I may have to take advantage of that. And that guy's just been sitting there, hasn't he? Yes, he has. Alright. So, let's go over on this bunker right here. So each of these bunkers only holds 300,000, which isn't very much. But 300,000 liters worth of silage, and you sell it and you get the slurry from it, it's actually worth quite a bit of money. Even though we're on hard too, which is kind of funny when you think about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to record another little course here. Just because I don't want to have to babysit this guy. And it's funny though, because this actually works with courseplay, which kind of throws me off a little bit, because it never used to work very well with courseplay before, and I don't know if it's because of the developer version or what, but oh, that's not going to work very well for this particular truck. I don't know if it's because of the developer version or what, but it does appear to be working with courseplay. The biggest thing you have to do is make sure to keep the biggest thing to make sure you keep the speed down, because once it gets to a certain speed and it gets like a speed wobble, it's not very effective. So, or so I've discovered. There we go. You should pick up the combine soon. Let's hop over back to our Massey Ferguson. There we go, perfect. So he should be finishing up that soon. So what we should probably do is, where's my let's grab this guy over here. Let's grab the big homemade tractor. I'm reluctant to say the name that was given to it because I always screw it up. And I get flack for it. So that's the reason why I'm reluctant to say it, I think. Anyways, let's go ahead and compact this. I don't know how heavy this tractor actually is. Not that heavy, apparently. It's so much quieter in here. I don't know why I don't do this with more tractors. I guess I could get a what do you call it? A silage blade thing to compact the silage. Actually, I need that up, don't I? Yes, you do. Anyway, so yeah, Peter Johnson, check him out. His Twitter handle is @WheatPete, so wheat like the plant wheat. So, I don't know, I find this podcast informative and interesting. So, alright. I feel like someone suggested that I make this tractor a bit heavier. So it could pull the plow that we picked up last time around. And I could easily do that, actually. It's not very difficult to do that. Actually, I think I mentioned this before, but the new class Xerion. Well, it's not new. New in North America. One of the things they mentioned about using it for was, for this specific purpose, is compacting silage down. Because it does have a front 3-point hitch on it. Which is kind of rare for that size of tractor. So. But of course, you know, the way this game works and the way real life works is just a wee bit different, so. You don't really need a blade. Actually, it makes it more difficult when you have like a blade or something on the front. I think there aren't many scenarios where it works well, so. Alright. It's funny. My internet's been going off and on and off for the last little while. It's been really annoying. So it's like it'll work for a little bit and then it'll stop working. And then it'll work for a little bit and then it'll stop working. And I think they're doing work on the lines just to make sure things are working properly, but man, is it annoying. Like, I was going to do a live stream today, for example. I was like, I got some time this afternoon, maybe we'll do a live stream. And I was like, yeah, I think I'll do that. And I was going to schedule one through YouTube. But the problem I ran into was the fact that I'm like, I'll wait till I get home to schedule it for the later in the day. Oh, these are 500,000 liters, not 300,000. Anyways. The problem I ran into is the fact that my internet was down when I got home, so not helpful. Anyhow. I don't know. Let's check on how far that case has gotten now. They have a little bit left. They got these 3-4 passes left, basically. And then they'll be done. Basically. Alright, so 59%. Almost there. It's taking forever. Maybe I will increase their weight and make this my silage compactor. This is like, I don't know why, but I think of every Let's Play I've played on, or I've had so far, I think I've always had this tractor. I don't know why. I just like it. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. 65%, almost there. Jesus, takes forever. Ah, that's interesting that he's automatically dumping there. I put the waiting point on that. Normally I wouldn't, but for that reason, with that particular truck, it doesn't tip very quickly, it seems like. So, it doesn't seem to want to... It'll drive through it, and it'll tip some of what's in the... some of what's in it, but not all of it, so it's really annoying, I've discovered, so... That's the only reason why I put that tipping point there, or the waiting point, sorry. Alright. Those guys should really hurry up. I wonder what... See, the problem is if you accelerate time, you actually lose the straw, which is the reason why I don't want to accelerate time. Or it diminishes, I should say, is what happens. As far as I understand. It diminishes a little bit of how much straw you actually have. So, I'm reluctant to fast forward time because of that. Because I want to keep all the straw. Because having all the silage is basically like all money. Money in the bank, so to speak. And also, at the BGA, we have one of our bunkers there is full of silage. Or, maybe not full of silage, but it has silage in it, so. Which is good for us. I probably could just do this with Courseplay, but whatever, I'll just do it myself. Oh, man. Let's see, 85%. A little bit left. Where are we here? Yeah, they got 1, 2, 3, 4 passes left, it looks like. It's weird. This thing's set to output as grass, so it actually has grass in there, which makes no sense at all. But it is. Which is kind of comical. When you think about it, at least. 85%. Alright, almost there. And I wonder how that lime's gonna work on that canola field over there, whether or not it's gonna make a difference now or not. Because as I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, I actually named one of the previous episodes that having a low pH is really bad in comparison to a high pH. Alright. Oh my goodness. 93%. Almost there. This should be the last time, I hope. I think, at least. Alright, 97. Oh my goodness. It's gonna take forever. 99. There we go. Sheesh. Perfect. So we have one full silo. So it's 500,000 liters of silage, which is going to be nice because that's going to be a good little chunk of change for us. So these guys are almost done. So I think what I'll do is I will accelerate time despite the fact that it's not full or not done. 92% or 9%. And we'll just see what happens. Alright, so let's go hop into the field over here and see. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be these two fields are going to be ready. So let's get this going. Alright, so let's bring up our PDA and check the soil pH. So we're at 5.8. So let's do it and see what happens. We don't have any wheat, I don't think. Alright, so let's see what happens. Field 6 has been sold. Okay, that's great. I just want to see the pH go up, because I didn't cultivate it, because apparently this should work. This should increase the pH, but it's a question of how much it's going to increase it by. Because if you cultivate it in, or if you... it seems like there's a lot of... it seems like there's a lot of weeds there. Anyways, if you cultivate it in, if you cultivate or plow, it doesn't make a difference. It'll increase the pH level, of course. So I think it'll actually change around when it hits with the growth of 70% up there. So there, it's all ready to go, and now it's all neutral. Sweet, that's perfect. Slightly alkalinity, that's not a problem. Excellent. This is good. Although apparently we have some weeds, which is also going to affect our yield as well. Yikes. And apparently our soybeans are ready too. Or are the soybeans ready and... No. All of field 8 is ready to go. Okay, well I guess we'll just harvest part of that then. So let's hop into our... And... didn't want to do that. There we go. So what we'll do is we'll get this guy going here. And I think what I'll do is I'll grab this guy, and I think do I have a course for 8? I think I will do the harvesting only because... No, I don't. I'll do the harvesting because I have a feeling if I use a course play to do it, it's going to be just a little silly. So what I'll do is I'll make a little course here, and that's ready to go already. Holy cow, that only takes 1 day. Okay, seems a bit silly. And now this is ready to go now. Go figure. Alright, so let's just make a quick little course here. And do a little turn. Like so. And I'll do the harvesting on this little section here. And then what I can do after that is I can get course play to do it. I could actually attach 2 of these together, but I don't have the money for it at the moment. I could sell some silage and easily have the money for it, though. So, perhaps that's an option in the near future. And there's lots of weeds in there, so... That's interesting, though. Apparently, it's hard to say how much it actually increases or not. We'll see. Oh, yes. I have to be careful because this side discharge only works on a certain area, so that should be okay, but we're going to see in a second here. Alright, get this guy started. It's funny, when you have this many fields, and you're using the soil mod, it's just ridiculous how much you have to actually do. Which is why it's just like, when you have small equipment, it's really... I don't know what the word would be. It is really... Not overwhelming, but there's a lot to do, let's just say that. Alright. Let's grab this guy and head to the field. I could actually... I don't have enough things to do it. I don't know. I don't know how much fuel we're going to burn. The problem is if I harvest the other field, I'm for sure going to get some oats. I guess I should just harvest it. Darn. Oh well. Let's get this guy going because he doesn't need to sit there. This is going to get in the way. And hopefully we'll get a good yield from these soybeans because they're sitting here now. And this guy can drive, and we'll set him to manual because I don't want him to go all over the place. I don't know how he's slipping there. There we go. Soybeans. Let's keep the information up here. Oops. Strong acidity here. Interesting. So that must just be this side part here. Alright, so... that's not terrible. It's kind of low. This little section here is kind of low, so... I don't know how fast we can go. 10 kilometers an hour seems kind of fast, but... Alright, so we're actually getting a bad yield. Well, yeah, we are kind of getting... I don't know. It's hard to tell. I wish they would show you like a how many bushels per acre or something like that. That would be really cool to see what the actual yield is in relation to real life. That would be a really cool mod to see. There may actually be one out there already. I don't know. I can't say I've honestly looked for one, so that could be something worth looking into if there is something like that. I know you can find ones that do it adjusting and stuff like that, but not necessarily with bushel yields and stuff like that. So, 10%, 1,000 liters. Doing a terrible job of steering here. Yeah, it's not too bad. This little section has the highest acidity, it looks like, so that may be part of the problem. Alright, let's just unload. And we'll bring the pipe in, turn around here. I don't know why, but every single time I really want to look behind me. Alright, so we're going to have to do this carefully, I guess. So I don't want to waste too much of the soybeans. So there. That's kind of like the part where it kind of breaks off. Apparently it still has high acidity though. Or strong acidity. Which is kind of interesting actually. You'd think it would be a little bit lower, but doesn't, or a bit higher I should say. Not such a low pH level. So it's a bit strange. Perhaps as you get further in it gets better? I don't know. It looked like it was okay when we checked it last time, so I'm not sure the reason why. What does that look like in there? I wish I could zoom in, because it kind of looks like soybeans. Actually, I've been doing a little bit of looking about and kind of reading a little bit about... I'm not going to be big enough for that, am I? Shoot. Here's a better yield here, because we have a moderate acidity. It's not too bad, I guess. Anyways, so I was doing a little bit of research in relation to early maturing soybeans. Which is kind of interesting actually, because there's been a little bit of information. I've been able to learn a little bit. I haven't actually gone out of my way to research, let's say, but I've asked people some questions about it, and it's kind of interesting stuff because because it appears to be I don't know. I'm not sure of price levels and whatnot, but it's kind of here's the reason why I find it interesting. I find it interesting because of their early maturing, so they have a lower heat unit you need for it. So certain areas in Ontario, would be able to grow it with relative ease in comparison to other potential types of soybeans. That's the reason why I find it interesting, because it could be a good alternative for some people, because it would allow them to grow soybeans still and get a crop in earlier, or at the normal time, just because they're in a lower heat unit area. So one or the other, basically. What is that case doing? Oh, goodness. Talk about being ridiculous. Jeez. Of all the places it stops right there. Right in the silo. Oh my goodness. There we go. Let's get the rest of these soybeans. Anyways, that's what I find interesting about it, is because it would allow people to do stuff like that. So for example, if you're in a lower BTU area, like lower heat unit, BTU, I don't know why I keep saying BTU, a lower heat unit area, then you'd be able to grow soybeans, but still be relatively successful with them, despite the fact that soybeans do require a certain number of heat units and whatnot. Alright, send driver home. There we go. Alright, now on to canola. So we still have a strong acidity, so I'm kind of surprised by that, actually. That was totally my foul up when I was seeding. It's kind of funny. I didn't think I screwed up that badly, but apparently I did. Extreme acidity? Really? I thought when I walked in the middle it was fine, but I guess... That's weird. We definitely are getting more yield from this, though, than we were from the soybeans, that's for sure. Maybe soybeans are meant to be a lower yield in comparison, but as these numbers fluctuate, it actually changes your yield, because of course a lower pH decreases your yield by quite a bit, and a high pH affects it, but not as much. So why am I turning that way? Jeez. Alright. Canola, grass, soybean. Jeez. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. Look down here for a second. I don't know if it's going to show it up again. Canola, grass. Oh, well. It won't show up anymore. But before I said like canola, grass, soybean, because in that particular area there was like, because in a 10 by 10 or 10 by 10 area, it it realized that on the one side there was soybeans and there was grass and there's canola. Oh my goodness, that's just too funny. Oh man. Anyways, this is a way better yield. So now we have moderate acidity, so the pH is going up, and as you can see, we're getting a lot more. But I still can't see how much I'm getting this area, which is really annoying. It'd be nice to be able to see that. I'm not missing it anyway. No. It'd be nice to be able to see that type of thing, saying, hey, I want X, well, I want to see a certain yield. And you'd be able to, you know, relate it a bit more to real life, and of course, Farm Sim's not the best for doing that, but it would be cool still to see it. I can't imagine well, maybe it would be difficult. I don't know. I don't know enough about programming in order to say whether it'd be hard or not. Alright, we'll stop the driver there. Sweet. And then slight acidity, moderate acidity. Yeah, that's not... I don't know how much that changes our... I'm not sure how much that changes our levels. But it definitely is changing them, so... Are they done harvesting? Maybe they are. No, we're still going at it over there. Let's raise the header here. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's just that little things are sometimes the things that bothered me the most. It's like I'd like to be able to see that, but of course I can't see it. So, but obviously I'm getting a better yield because I'm filling up. I've done like 2 passes and I'm full basically, in comparison to what I was getting before. So, yada yada yada. I guess. Anyways, let's put out the pipe. Let's check what canola prices are like. Nope, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Oh, it's all low. Yeah. Helps if you go in the right way. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. It would be kind of cool to be able to see something like that, or like have like a little thing in there. Like they have the RPMs and stuff and that, but they don't have like what your yield at is actually. Or maybe not in the cab itself, but maybe like on the outside. Like, I don't know, like when you go to this menu, for example, it shows what your last yield was, like a little bit more statistics, and then you can say, okay, what was the reason for it and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe that's too technical for this game, but it would be a nice little thing. It's funny, a while back I was telling somebody about the fact that I play video games and I put it on YouTube and people watch it and whatnot. And when I said the title, he asked me, "Oh, that's kind of like," and he went on. He thought it was like a real hardcore simulator, and I was kind of like, "Well, it's more arcadey." He's like, "Oh," and he's an actual farmer, so that's what made it even funnier. Because he was kind of like, "Oh, you're not actually simulating it; you're just pretending." And I was like, "Yeah, kinda." So, anyways, all right. So I think that's probably a good time to wrap up. What we'll have to do, I guess, is... I think what I'll do is, off camera, I'll finish harvesting this field because... yeah, I think off camera I'll finish harvesting this field. Let's go just check on these guys quickly here. So they have what looks like one pass left. And I think what I'll do is I'll get this guy... I'll get the other combine out and get him doing the other field. What is that? Field 7, I think. I'll get him combine that field, which is probably isn't going to be very much, but it's better than leaving it out there and not doing anything with it. And I'll get the GMC to unload him, and then I think I'll do these 2 fields, and then they'll be ready to have some stuff done on them. I.e. put some lime down. It seems like they're both really need lime, so I think that's what we'll do. And I don't think this is gonna fill up very quickly, so I can probably let this guy go for a while before I need to worry about him. So I'll just get that guy set up there. Anyways, like I said, I think that'll be the end for today. We have lots of silage now, apparently, which is good, so we'll make some money from that, and we will also be able to make some soy, which will be good. Anyways, my name's Iain Robson. This has been Farming Simulator 2013, coming at you from Idaho. And actually, kind of a longer episode. Didn't mean to do that. Anyways.